Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the show. So glad to have you this Saturday evening for the 31st episode of the Paint Party live stream. Glad to have you joining. For some reason, the live stream is not streaming over to Facebook, so I posted this link to YouTube there. Yeah, we'll hopefully get that figured out. But glad to have you. We'll leave a few minutes for people to kind of find us and join the stream. So glad to have you as you come in. Hey there, Lola. So glad to see you as always. Hope you've had a great week and that spring is starting to sprung there in the Northland. Welcome, welcome. I hope everybody had a great week. This live stream is a weekly live stream where I paint a different picture every week to grow my own experience and my own skill at painting. And so every week I try to tackle something a little bit different. I've been working on a variety of subjects, and this evening we're going to work on another flower. We've been doing a couple of flowers. I think I've done 2 or 3 now to learn. It's not necessarily, I'm not very good at flowers, and so that's a challenge that I keep having to dive into to try to get better and better. And my goal is over time to improve, but that is what we're doing this evening. You can see right behind me, it'll be these tulips. I love tulips. It's great for spring. As spring hits, most of us, at least here in North America or the Northern Hemisphere, spring is springing all across the land. So that's what we are going to be doing this evening. The live stream is really simple. Pop in, pop out, hang out as long as you'd like, and join the party. So I do want to show everybody, show you what we did last week. I did some more work. I had some time this afternoon to do some detail work on the peppers. If you remember, we did peppers last week, and so I did some additional work. You'll notice if you were here last week that I added some highlights. So I went in and added more variety in the tones. Before, when I had done these, there were distinct marks where the shadows were, and so I softened those. I brightened these oranges and reds, added some much more orange in the highlighted areas, and then did some kind of pink white highlights here to really emphasize where the light was shining. I also went, last week we had not added any definition to the stems, and so I added some green to the stems. They were just dark green. I also painted in the bowl and a little ridge of the light accent here to show that they are sitting in a bowl. And so those are the major differences. I don't think it's quite done. I may come back and add some additional shades of orange in there just to brighten this up. But I think it did what I was trying to do. I'm really trying to develop the ability to guide the eye into the painting using light and shadow. So you'll remember our reference photo was just all pretty evenly lit, and so I recessed some of these peppers into the shadows and the back by just not providing as bright colors, and so the eye is really drawn into the center part of the painting. So that's what we were working on last week, and that's what I did this afternoon. I added some additional details. So pretty happy with how this is turning out. May add some additional detail. I'm not quite sure, but happy with how it turned out. So glad to have you. Hey there, Katrina. So glad to see you. I hope that you are doing well. Yeah, it's amazing. Just a little bit, I went in and put the dark on the stem and then added just a little bit of highlight, and it just creates the definition and kind of that 3 dimension of the stem. So that was really fun. Absolutely. Okay, let's jump into this week. I did do a real rough sketch, you can see, of the tulips, just the basic definition. Actually, I don't know that I'm going to keep it because I think I want the larger tulip even larger on the canvas. It's an 8x10 canvas, so we'll kind of develop this as we go. But that's what we are going to work on. So let's dive right in here. It's kind of dreary and not cold, but chilly here in Little Rock. Kind of rainy weather. But I guess that is spring, isn't it? It is Saturday night, Bob. Welcome. So glad to see you. Saturday night. I'm gonna have to figure out if I continue these on Saturday night or if I change to a different night, as I think I had said that last time, as the world gets more busy. Definitely lots of things going on. So let me zoom y'all in as much as possible, and we will get started here. All right. Let's do a... Let's see. I think we're gonna do actually we'll start working on the flower first. I'm trying to decide if I work on the flower first or the background first. I don't know that there is a benefit one way or another. The background kind of helps define this space, so maybe we will do that. See where we go. No, actually, I just changed my mind. I think I want to do the flower. So let's see here. I think I'm gonna kind of just mix what I'm trying to do is mix a kind of grayish color to, oh, you know what? There is something missing. Not always, but there is the reference for y'all so you can see it a little easier. And I'm mixing a little gray here with the brown, the blue, and the white. This will be that kind of subtle, oh, I added too much brown, so let's diffuse this a little bit. Then lighten it with the white. This is actually going to be the base color of these petals. I think I actually want, I'm not sure. I'm going to try to draw as I go. So let's see if we can fix, because I think I want the petals actually, I think I want the tulip larger. This will be the shadow there. It looks white, but it's actually kind of a grayish color. This will allow us to go and highlight on top of it more easily. So let's do that. And then we'll come over here and do a similar thing. Okay, that gives us a foundation, and then we'll do some yellow at the base. Just gonna bring in yellow and white so that it's not, mix it with white. So a really bright yellow, so it's not as opaque as it would be just by itself. It's still the same thing. I'm going to zoom y'all in a little bit so you can see. So it's really pale because we're having to let it dry the whole thing. So what I think I'm going to do now is come in with a bright green. I'm going to try to decide where to, because I definitely want this definitely want this to be the center. I think I messed this up though, because I think the stem is too slanted. So let's bring the stem over here. We'll just move it over. Some. There, we'll put the stem right there. I think that's better. Maybe not, but that's how I like that. And we'll put this one in right about there. Okay. That'll give us a start. I like that. Now, let's go put in I'm mixing a little, a little red and white to create that kind of bright red pink color that's in the flower. We're going to put some of these, kind of start creating some definition in these petals. little by little we'll add in this detail and layers so that in the end, hopefully it'll resemble what we see or similar to what we see in the reference. All right, let's see what we can create. Now I think that we have this, I think now is the time to go. We have the basic outline. Now we jump to the background. I think we take some blue, some green, get a really nice deep color. Start kind of coming in towards the flowers. The really rich color. And I am going to actually use some of my blending gel. This is a blending gel medium. I don't use it very often, but I'm going to use just a little bit because I think that'll give us a better cover as well as a better blend in the background. So we'll do the first coat, which will soak into the canvas, and then that'll allow us to come back for another coat, and once it dries it'll be a little easier. I actually want, noticing there's little highlights of sap green in here. Oh, so I want to bring in some of that. There's that blue, kind of dark green, but yeah, we'll just kind of get a good cover in here as much as possible. And again, like I've done before, like I said, I'm going to try to use the light or the effect of light. So I'm going to darken these corners and the edges so that the eye is drawn up to the flower. And the emphasis is going to be right up here. So this will be where our eye is drawn. So won't paint exactly will not paint exactly the reference as it is displayed. But this is again another chance to explore and become better at playing with lights, shadows, contrast, which in a lot of ways I think brings interest to the painting. While I'm doing this, I'm just going to go along the edge like I often do, just so we have a consistent color on the edge. Kind of random thought, but I am this weekend another year older than I was last weekend. Not really, but celebrated my 44th birthday in style by going to bed early and eating ice cream and cake before bed. Because now that I'm an adult, I can eat my ice cream and cake before dinner, or in lieu of dinner, or after dinner, or all three. I also this morning had fun. A friend of mine here in town just finished her certification or her training as a yoga instructor. And I've never done yoga, but improving my balance, maintaining my core strength and flexibility is something I want to work on. And no way. Happy birthday, Lola. Mine was the 20th. Happy birthday. I hope yours was pleasant and you got time to spend with friends or family and celebrate your life. Another successful rotation around the sun. Oh, it was a big one, a landmark. Happy 60th. That's great. Yeah, I am headed toward the big 50. A few more years, but I guess I'll paint the bottom of this later. All right, we kind of have the basics, so that's good. All right, that'll bring us in. And then later we'll come in with a detail brush and really get close to these tulips. Oh, bummer. I was able to take my birthday off, so I had kind of a lazy day. Had coffee with a friend here locally and met another friend for lunch and just kind of took it easy. That's a bummer that you had to work. Not a lot of fun. Thank you, Katrina. That is the goal, right? For all of us. Let's hold off. If I can pass for a little bit younger all the way through, we get to the end and it never catches up with us, hopefully. That's one of the reasons I decided that this year I gonna have to do some yoga or Pilates or something to keep my... You don't realize, I didn't realize till this morning I was trying to get into positions and poses that I have not done and realize, oh, my arms are shaky, or my legs are weak, or my core is not as strong as it should be. It's definitely a challenge. But I'm hoping that by tackling it early being 40, mid-40s, I can build up strength and balance and all those things that will serve me for the rest of my life. That's the goal. Yes, happy birthday, Bob G. That's amazing. All of us right in a row. All of the best decades, the 40s, the 50s, and the 80s, right? The best of all the decades. Just trying here to get a little closer to these flowers so that it's easier to cut in around them later. Cover up this canvas as it kind of starts to bleed through. Cover it up as best we can. Probably a much better way to do this, but you know, I tend to do things the hard way. It's just my MO, I guess. We'll try to take this second tulip into the background and bring this first one forward. This is where it takes a little creativity and imagination and some experience. I'm just learning how to make these, because I started my painting journey trying to recreate what I see exactly. But then I realized that those often make boring paintings because it's just, I mean, it's similar to a portrait, which is fine, but, or a picture, but that's not like how our eye sees things. And so by taking some light and playing with that, you can create much more interest. All right. I am sipping some chilled tea from my friend Abby's shop. This is a lavender pear, which is delightful with a few sprays of lemon juice. Quite a delicious treat. Okay, so we have done some work. Now I am going to change, I think, to a smaller brush, a flat brush, and start to put in some additional detail. Going back to where we started with the kind of gray. Let's just mix that. I'm going to try to do a little bit lighter this time. And let's start putting hopefully some detail here. This is going to be, again, the shadow, kind of the shadow of the white there at the top. We'll reserve our whitest whites for the brightest part. But I think I might do some, I'm going to see, but I may do some changing of this. I might have the light so it's shining really bright there at the top. We'll see. Background's still a little wet, so I'm going to just blend there, because that will, I'm not going to do as much detail as the actual reference photo for that second. So I kind of do want this to blend in with that background a little bit. I saw the most beautiful, I wish I had a picture of it, the most beautiful painting. Maybe I'll find it and see if I can reshare it on Instagram. This guy I follow on Instagram, and I don't remember his handle or name, but he did this absolutely stunning landscape with storm clouds, and the light effect was just like unreal. The light effect he was able to create. And you know, of course, once somebody has done something like that, it's obviously it can be done. And so it's just a matter of figuring out how, right? So I really want to someday do a bunch of studies or work to try to figure that out, because it was absolutely breathtaking. The way he was able to use the effect of light by creating dark clouds. The color of the clouds was dark, and then the really bright edges created this effect that was, it just was so almost surreal, like not quite real, but it was fascinating. Now I'm using this kind of grayish blue white to try to create some of the to refine the shape of the flower a little bit. So that's kind of what's going on right now. Now we're going to do the same thing we did before. I'm going to take some of this yellow, try to mix with the red, so I have a little of the pink orange so that it blends up. Need some more pink. I think that's one of the reasons flowers are so challenging, because they have so often so many shades of colors that are not, it's not just direct, like there's so many variations. I'll see, this is coming out too orange because it's up against that red. But I can use it for up here, I think, where the light is hitting. We'll just keep layering until we get what we want. all the way as we go, even if these aren't the perfect, like they're not the perfect shades of yellow or red. What this layering like this allows, I mean, it builds up depth in the petals, but it also gives me a chance to constantly be analyzing and adjusting my shape and composition for the flower. So and I believe that over time then I will get a more three-dimensional appearance. That's the belief. I wish my camera were a little bit better so y'all could see this a little bit better. Because it looks so kind of dulled down on the screen. Especially once I zoom in, it seems like it loses quality of the Well, we are an hour in, y'all. And slowly coming together. I thought this painting might have gone faster than others, but doesn't appear to. Just probably because there's so much detail that can be worked in. Trying to get these flowers really, trying to get them correct. All right, let me see. I really wonder what's going on with my streaming software, why it is not streaming to Facebook. The last 2 weeks it's not syndicated to Facebook, and everything on my end is set up on the back end, set up the same, so it makes me wonder like what's going on. But I'm trying to encourage people to watch on YouTube, but I know not everybody has a YouTube login or wants to use it. I think as I expand, as more people watch this live stream that are not just my own personal contacts, maybe that will alleviate some of that. It won't matter as much because people will I just changed this, decided it needed more on this side over here. So I made it much larger, brought out this. So we'll have to adjust that, but felt right. Somebody's dog's going a little crazy outside. I don't know if y'all can hear that. I have no idea what's going on. Absolutely. I think sometimes they're just like, hey, remember I'm here. Don't forget me. It's like, yes, we don't. We can hear you. And we know you're here. All right. I'm going to bring this closer so you can see some of the detail I put in. That's what I was working on. And now I'm going to go in and clean up some of these parts, take out some of the take out some of that, not all of that fluorescent. Oops, but it's not quite as yellow. I want the most yellow down here. I believe that's what I want. So we are going to try to do that. I'm thinking through this because I'm trying to... The light, now that I look at it, is actually coming from behind and to this side, but I wanted it, think coming from this front angle, but I'm not sure that that's true anymore. We'll see. Let's see what we create. I don't exactly know. That's what comes with only 8 months experience. But the more I do it, the more better. The better I get, right? Yes, yes, yes. Das ist true. Thank you, Bob. I am working on that. It helps because it's such a beautiful flower that it's kind of hard to mess it up as long as you take enough time. It's kind of, when you look at it really closely, it's, these petals are so, they're almost translucent, which is, it's just beautiful. about 20 more minutes here to see what we can do to improve this. I really want to emphasize this and de-emphasize this, but I'm not quite sure how to do it. So I'm gonna experiment a little bit and hope I don't ruin the whole thing. What I'm experimenting with is, can I make this less precise, a little more shadowed? I'm going to try to for lack of a better term, dull down the colors here and see if we can send it backward a little ways. May not work. It may just look like now I'm really experimenting / ruining. If we darken this down enough where it almost blends in, I mean, we don't want it entirely to blend in, but where the whites are almost just suggested. And let's see. I may have to come back later this week and really do some work on this and try to fix it. Okay. Kind of make it ugly, because I like this one, but it's just the kind of that adage that, you know, putting it next to, you know, what is it next to? I can brighten up these colors, then all of a sudden it jumps out much more. So now what I'm doing is I am sort of messing it up. I'm raising the value and tones on this flower across the board. So I'm brightening up the reds so they're almost a pink, so that then the brightest highlights are the sharp reds, but then they stand out more. Hopefully, that's the intent. They'll be more vibrant. So we'll have to do some more layers to make it work, but I think in the long run it'll be better. Because I got to a point where I couldn't brighten this anymore. And if I bring it up with the pinks, then and reds, then it, yeah, we'll just see. Again, it's just constantly adjusting, figuring out what works. Now I can go to the other flower, take the red, take a little bit of green to desaturate it so that it's kind of purpley. Almost maroon-ish color. So let's go over here and add some of this back in. But we're doing, notice now when I'm coming in here, I'm bringing in, I've lightened up these values and I'm desaturating or darkening these values with the opposite on the color wheel. So I'm taking some green into the red, which is turning it into almost a purplish so that it still appears red, but it's going to appear dark. That's the problem, because I painted both of them with the same values, and I'm trying to create the illusion that one is in the light and the other is not. One is more more forward than the other. So have to that's where you have to think. It's not necessarily what you see, but it's what you want to create that then becomes the important thing. What do I want to create the appearance of? There, see? Already you can see it's starting to go back into the background. So now I have to think, as I create variations, there's kind of this purple, but I don't want it totally blank. So I have to take yellow and what's opposite on the color wheel from yellow? Anybody have an idea? Or anybody know? How do I desaturate the yellow? What color do I need to use? Or what color am I using? I'm using a little purple. This may be too much, so I'm just kind of playing until it turns out the way I want it. And we are almost at the end of our time, so I will continue to work on this. Yep, purple. So you can see, actually, I still don't think I have the values right, but you can see this is definitely pulling ahead of this, which I do want that focus there. So I just need to keep working on this till I get it like I want. And then white, when I come in, I want to bring in white and a little brown, a little blue, trying to, it's hard to tell till you actually get something on the canvas, but trying to raise this without making it too bright. Still a little gray because we want This is, I was just telling friends today, like there's a time in, and I've said this often, in the painting when you think, oh, what a mess. Especially trying something new, like, well, not new, but trying to figure out something I don't know, where it's just like, this is never going to, I can't turn this one around. So that's what I'm feeling right now, but I know that's not true. I know if I keep working, I will be able to turn this one around. It'll just take a little more time than allotted this evening. But once I know it, then the next time I go to do something like this, I'll be able to think through the process a little better. And plan a little better. So that it actually, I'm more efficient. All right, I think we're gonna pause for now. And set this one like we did the peppers, set it to the side so you can see where it is kind of in process. It's really ugly on the right hand side. I kind of like the left hand side, so I'm going to keep working the right hand side and see if I can get it to a point that I like it. Yeah, and I'll keep working this one and see what we can do. So that is the deal. So I want to say thank you to all of you who have joined me this evening well, sorry about that, that have joined me this evening for the live stream. You can always join me every Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm going to continue doing these on Saturday evening until I move, which is going to be, the last one would be the Saturday the 22nd of May. And then we'll figure out what we do going forward. I may change time, I may change day, I may do 2 different live streams, one during the day, one during the evening. But yeah, that's going to be the plan. But definitely you can find the live streams on, of course, YouTube. And generally I live stream to multiple platforms, but you can find all the information to connect on Steve Rice, STEVERICE .CARRD.co. SteveRice.CARD.co. That's where you can find the links to all my social, my upcoming live streams, etc. So again, thanks for joining me, everybody. Hope you have a great evening, a great rest of your weekend, and we will touch base with you next Saturday, 7 p.m. Central. Have a great one, and we will see you next time.